If you live on your own, then you are one of the growing number of Australians living solo. Latest research reveals 24% of households are occupied by only one person. That's up from 19% 10 years ago. But you don't have to fear being on your own. So to avoid alone becoming lonely, relationship psychologist John Aiken joins us. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Kerri-Anne.
I love that line, being alone as opposed to being lonely. And there is a growing percentage of people living alone now. Why do you think that is?
Well, look, there are a number of reasons, I think. You've got the divorce rates, you've got people that are waiting a little longer to get married and spending time on their own, and also an ageing population as well. But I think at the end of the day, there are more people that are on their own, and if you're afraid of that, then you're going to have a bit of a problem.
So how do you recognise someone who is afraid of being alone?
Well, you tend to see a number of signs in them, but certainly their thinking can give it away. They'll often be very negative around being alone, and they'll feel like they can't cope, and often it'll be a reflection of them. So they'll say, well, now that I'm alone, it's just that something's wrong with me, or that I'm a failure, or that I haven't measured up in some way. And so it really creates panic and desperation.
And even for someone who's in a relationship who has a fear of being alone, because there are people who can't possibly spend time by themselves. How do you recognise someone, if you're in a relationship, who fears being alone?
Well, I think what you'll find when you're with them is that you'll feel like they're living basically joined at the hip with you, that they'll want to organise themselves in your life, they'll want to meet your friends and your family, and they'll interrogate you and be around all the time, trying to basically do everything that you're doing, and it becomes exhausting and it's a bit of a burden.
Wow, and that can be a danger in a relationship. They turn into very needy people.
Yeah, absolutely. And what happens is you tend to get burnt out, you know, that they're sort of all over you, and it's just, you start to resent the fact that you don't have any breathing space on your own.
Okay, so recognising this, I guess, is the first step, recognising it in yourself or in someone you know. So with those points, what do you still consider the most important thing? Is recognising it the most important thing?
Yeah, look, I think if you think in a negative way about being on your own, then that's an issue. Then I think also you've got problems with generally surrounding yourself with people that are almost all the time taking up your space. So your social calendar is absolutely full to overflowing, and you get exhausted by that.
So talking about it, I mean, that is one of the issues in any psychological recovery. Recognising it and then talking about it. How do you do that?
Well, people that tend to have a fear of being alone will often talk a lot about their problems, Kerri-Anne, because they want drama. They want people to be involved in their life. And so there are issues and problems that they're constantly talking about. And this is one of the telltale signs as well, that you're quite scared of being alone, because you say, I can't cope with this, and this is too much for me. And so that's something to be really aware of, and not to over talk about it, essentially.
Again, the needy relationship.
The needy desperation.
Let's get on to the tips to make sure alone doesn't become lonely, whatever your circumstances are. So give us some tips on how we can recover.
Well, the way I look at it, Kerri-Anne, is that, you know, like being afraid of anything, you've got to face it. If you face the fear, it goes, but if you run from it, it grows.
So if you've recognised any of the things we've talked about, you have a fear of being alone, so face it.
Absolutely. You've got to start facing it, and by doing that, you gradually build up your sense of confidence around it. So for starters, you would schedule in little activities that would allow you to be on your own on a daily basis.
For instance?
It might be that you cook a meal on your own, you watch a DVD on your own, you read a book, you know, you basically have a coffee and not spend your time texting or ringing people, just spending time on your own. And then you build up to something a bit more scary, like, say, going to a movie on your own. So those sorts of little activities are important. Then you start scheduling in time as well where you stay in at nights, and even turn down the odd social invite. So you're really facing that fear of being on your own. Now what you'll find is that you'll start to have worrying and fearful thoughts about this. I might be missing out, or there's something wrong with me here, or people don't like me, whatever comes into your mind. Challenge those thoughts. And then from there, look at enforcing some time apart from your partner as well. You know, when
if you have a partner.
If you've got a partner, or friends or family, really make a point of getting some
instead
space.
of asking all your friends to solve your problems, try and work on it yourself, instead of being that negative person creating the drama and saying, help me, help me.
Absolutely. Because as you start to solve your own problems, what will happen is you'll get to a point where you become resilient, quite confident, and with that, people will be less involved in your life and you'll be more autonomous. So it's quite a powerful position to be in.
Well, excellent tips. They're all detailed on our website. If you just want to go to the website, a lot of this is, you can download it from there. I think it's very important. Obviously, it's growing, and to make sure alone doesn't become lonely. Great ideas. And thank you, John Aiken.
Pleasure.